This evening, First Lady names third FPSO in Singapore, targets first oil production by end of 2023. Region 1 to receive improved public services with 546 million allocation. Presidential office moves to Region 6, only for 2 days. In the region, Bolivia, doctors on alert amid rising dengue cases in Santa Cruz. And internationally, British workers unite in largest strike in a generation. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Updates. I am Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. Up first, the First Lady of Guyana, Arya Ali, has officially named the Prosperity the third floating production, storage and offloading vessel in a ceremony in Singapore on Wednesday, February 1st. The vessel, which will be the third FPSO built by SBM Offshore for ExxonMobil's Stabroek Block operations in Guyana, is the largest to date. The First Lady highlighted that the Prosperity project, adding to Liza Phase 1 and 2, will bring opportunities for the country through local content penetration and increased revenues. The CEO of SBM Offshore, Bruno Chavas, stated that the company is honored to play a role in developing the resources in Guyana. The president of ExxonMobil Global Projects, John Gibbs, said, "The Prosperity team built on the successes of the previous projects to deliver a world-class FPSO. The Prosperity vessel is expected to leave Singapore for Guyana in the first quarter of 2023, targeting the first oil and gradual production ramp-up by the end of the year. The project will tap into 600 million oil equivalent barrels from the Payara and Pacora fields and take combined production to 580,000 barrels of oil per day. ExxonMobil plans to place 6 FPSOs offshore in Guyana by 2027. Here is an update on the inhumane assault of a businesswoman at Rose Hall by her former lover earlier this week. 55-year-old Kemradat Persad of Vizas, West Kanji Berbice, was charged with attempted murder of his ex-wife, 36-year-old Dionrani Badal, when he appeared at the number 51 Magistrates Court on Wednesday, February 1st. Persad appeared before Magistrate Rabindranath Singh for the indictable charge of attempted murder. He was not required to plea. The court heard that on January 29th, around 1 p.m., the accused attempted to murder Badal when he inflicted several chop wounds to her body and head. The victim drove her motorcar into a wash bay and tire shop in Port Morant. As her vehicle came to a halt, Prasad started hitting the windshield with a cutlass. The woman quickly exited her vehicle, but Prasad rushed up to her with a cutlass in his hand and inflicted several chop wounds. The woman subsequently collapsed to the ground while the man made his escape. The duo separated about 3 months ago. Prasad was subsequently remanded to prison until February 16th, and the matter was transferred to the Wim Magistrates Court. In other developments, residents of Region 1 will soon benefit from improved public services, including transportation, education, and health, with $546 million allocated by the government. The Minister of Local Government and Regional Development, Nigel Darmlal, announced this on Wednesday during the consideration of the estimates in the Parliamentary Committee of Supplies. The boats and outboard engines will be distributed to assist with students' transportation to and from schools, providing practical transportation for all school children in the riverine areas of Region 1. New schools will be constructed in Morohana, Smith Creek, Ornock, St. Peter's and St. Paul, reducing the distance students have to travel to schools. The rehabilitation of the Santa Rosa Primary School and extension of Kamawata, Waramuri and Quibana primary schools are also planned. Health centers and hospitals will be completed, including the Arakaka, Asakata, and Kariku health centers and maternal waiting homes at the Mabaruma Hospital. Health huts at St. Anselm, Hosorora, and Chinese Landing will be constructed, as well as living quarters at Chinese Landing, Whitewater, Coriabo, and Mabaruma hospitals. The construction of new roads and improved electricity distribution will also be part of the development plans. Some villages will receive electricity for the first time, with $800 million budgeted for the upgrading electricity distribution networks. Minister Darmlal also noted that surgeries are now being performed in-house at the Kumaka District Hospital and the Mabaruma District Hospital, with over 60 surgeries completed successfully. The construction of roads will also improve employment opportunities for over 100 residents. Stick around when we return. Kanu cracks down on drug trafficking, arrests 2 suspects and seizes millions in cannabis, and Sapphire Exhibition Complex to undergo major renovations ahead of Expo 2023.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Give your home or office some shine. Fortune Investment Company. We provide reliable commercial and residential professional cleaning services in Guyana. We clean homes and commercial offices. Other services offered are floor care and tile polishing, interior auto detailing services, power washing, weeding and cleaning, and carpet, couch, and mattress cleaning. We are committed to keeping your homes and offices squeaky clean. Call us now at 592-689-7558 or 592-639-6365 or visit us at 3430 Jackson North Rumville, Georgetown, Guyana. Fortune Investment Company. When we say clean, we mean spotless.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
Welcome back. President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali has relocated his office to East Berbice Quarantine for 2 days to address and resolve issues affecting residents in the region. The temporary office is located at State House in New Amsterdam and is equipped to handle any social or administrative issues. The president emphasized that the initiative is part of the government's strategy to improve service delivery and governance efficiency, and add that the exercise would be executed in every region. Several government ministries and stakeholders are on site to consult with residents, including the Ministries of Agriculture, Housing and Water, and Human Services and Social Security. President Ali also announced that residents who paid for their house lots up to 2021 will get their ownership document in hand by 3 p.m. today. He said the region would be transformed significantly as major projects are in the pipeline. The president also urged persons interested in Guyana Online Academy of Learning Scholarships program and the recently launched 150 Coders program to take advantage by registering at the respective booths. Also in the news, the Sophia Exhibition Complex in Guyana is set to undergo significant renovations ahead of the country's largest trade expo, GuyExpo 2023. The event provides a platform for producers to showcase and promote their products, creating local and international business opportunities. The Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce, Wanage Waldron, announced that the government had allocated $14.5 million to rehabilitate the complex. The renovations will include repairs to staff quarters, the fuel bond installation of storage shelves, refurbishing the GuyExpo Secretariat, repairs to the roof shed, and the main stage area at the main auditorium. The main auditorium will receive new paint, floors, and wall repairs and replacement of defective outlets and lighting fixtures in the office building. Additionally, a fence will be built, cost of $13.8 million, and $5 million was allocated for hosting the event this year. GuyExpo, first held in 1995, has become a popular annual event attracting hundreds of local and international businesses. In other news, officers from the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit conducted a search operations at the premises on Norton Street in Lodge, Georgetown on Wednesday, February 1st. During the search, officers discovered several suspected parcels of cannabis. The owner of the premises, Kirk Brown, also known as Coco T, and others were arrested and taken to the Canoe headquarters with the suspected drugs. According to Canoe, the narcotics tested positive for cannabis and weighed approximately 42 pounds with a street value of approximately $5.9 million. The arrest of Brown, a 50-year-old businessman, and others are part of the ongoing efforts by Canoe to combat drug trafficking in Guyana. Investigations are ongoing and authorities are expected to provide further updates as the case progresses. Also yesterday, officers from Canoe conducted an operation at East Coast Demerara. They intercepted a car which drove into Buxton and evaded the officers on several occasions, including at a roadblock on Buxton Public Road. A search of the vehicle led to the discovery of 12 parcels of suspected cannabis, which amounted to 23.2 kilograms. The driver, 25-year-old Odari Phillips of Vigilance Housing Scheme East Coast Demerara, was arrested. The street value of the drugs is approximately $7 million Guyana. Don't go away after the break. British workers unite in largest strike in generation and ensure to raise spending on job creation before elections.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Good girl forget things.
Who's
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Give your home or office some shine. Fortune Investment Company. We provide reliable commercial and residential professional cleaning services in Guyana. We clean homes and commercial offices. Other services offered are floor care and tile polishing, interior auto detailing services, power washing, weeding and cleaning, and carpet, couch, and mattress cleaning. We are committed to keeping your homes and offices squeaky clean. Call us now at 592-689-7558 or 592-639-6365 or visit us at 3430 Jackson North Rumville, Georgetown, Guyana. Fortune Investment Company. When we say clean, we mean spotless.
Hey, this is your fancy vehicle and it's your house?
Yes, this is my vehicle and actually I'm waiting on my land. I'm actually renting this house for $50,000.
$50,000? You head more? You crazy? You mad? You head no good? Why you buy? Look, let me show you the light. Come with me.
Come on down to Fabulous Homes today. Pay $50,000 every month for 36 months or until you reach 50% of your house costs. Move in after 75% of the cost has been paid.
This is wonderful. Let's go. Sign me up.
Alright, let me go and dash away your landlord.
To explore our home ownership program, check our Facebook page for more information or come down to our office at Avalon Friendship.
Hey, Chinese, thanks, man. Thanks a lot.
You got through?
Yes.
Call us at 227-1380 or 615-8740. Fabulous Homes International Realty, changing tenants into homeowners.
At Fabulous Homes, we bring your dreams to life.
Welcome back. Now let's take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. Doctors in Bolivia are worried about a surge in cases of dengue fever. Nearly 2,000 people have been infected with it in recent weeks, and health workers fear the disease will spread even farther. Victoria Gatimbi reports.
At this hospital in Santa Cruz, doctors say they've seen an alarming increase in the number of cases of dengue fever so far this year. Although most patients survive the disease, it can be deadly, especially for children.
My son fell ill on Wednesday night and I took him to my local hospital, where I saw many children arriving with their parents with the same symptoms as my son.
Nearly 70% of Bolivia's cases of dengue are in Santa Cruz. Doctors there say they're struggling to keep up with the number of new patients.
When the patient is seriously ill, they're moved to the intensive care unit. Here in the hospital, we have 8 beds and they're always full. We don't have space for new patients. The other problem we have is staff shortages. We have nurses and doctors who are ill with dengue fever and there's nobody to cover their shifts.
Dengue fever can cause intense pain in muscles and joints. It's spread by the bite of the Aedes aegypti mosquito, which thrives in tropical urban settings. Poor sanitation, a lack of adequate drainage and changing weather patterns are being blamed for a spike in infections.
The health ministry is helping with the fight against dengue. Last Sunday we deployed 5,000 people and together we eliminated around 58 tons of disposable items, which are a risk for public health when it comes to dengue.
Sanitation workers are battling to get the outbreak under control before hospitals in Santa Cruz are overwhelmed. Victoria Gatenby, Al Jazeera.
Internationally, up to 500,000 British teachers, civil servants, train drivers and university lecturers have walked off their jobs to demand better pay and working conditions in the largest coordinated strike action in a generation as wages fail to keep pace with soaring inflation. Al Jazeera's Nadim Baba reports.
smiling through the cold, but normally Samara and her colleagues at this school for pupils with special needs would be inside. They want a pay rise that meets the rising cost of living and keeps people in the profession.
I've had to make huge sacrifices. I've actually worked 2 jobs for 5 years now to be able to literally keep a roof over my head and to be able to put fuel in my car so that I can actually get to work. Even friends of mine who have been teachers for 2-3 years have decided that it's just not for them because they genuinely cannot bear the stress and the overload and the workload that they are expected to do.
Thousands of teachers and their families marched in London on Wednesday. Many stressed pay rises should be far higher than the 5% offered for last year and be paid for by the government, not come from already stretched school budgets.
That 5% pay came out of school budgets. So what you're doing is you're taking away glue sticks in order to pay your teachers, and that's not good enough.
My mum's a teacher, and we come home and it's just she works so much longer than she should have to, and they're being paid they're doing so much more than they're required to.
Well, these teachers are making sure their demands are heard on what is clearly a sizable demonstration here in London. But they're also part of a wave of industrial action taking in various parts of the economy, all calling on the government for pay rises that meet inflation.
The government insists it's bound by the recommendations of the pay review body, even though it's constrained by the financial remit ministers gave it.
The independent pay review body recommended 5% for experienced teachers and 8.9% for new teachers. There's also progression pay within those salary bands as well. So 40% of classroom teachers will actually be getting pay rises up to 15.9% this year.
For the National Education Union, that's far from good enough. They accuse ministers of refusing meaningful talks.
They've got to dial down the rhetoric, dial down the anti-union, anti-teacher tone. They've got to stop doing political stunts. They've got to get into a room and they've got to devote the time and the resources to negotiating a settlement.
So at the moment there is not an offer on the table that you can put to the members?
No, there's no extra money for this year, and indeed they delayed. They should have published their evidence to the pay review body on Friday and haven't published it.
The next education strike is due at the end of the month. If there's no movement on pay, we're likely to be seeing more protests. Not just from people like Samara, but workers in other key professions who, at least for now, enjoy broad support from the public. Nadeem Barber, Al Jazeera, London.
And finally, Prime Minister Narendra Modi government presented to Parliament an annual budget of $550 billion that calls for ramping up of capital spending by 33% to spur economic growth and create jobs in advance of general elections next year. Unemployment remains one of India's biggest challenges. Al Jazeera's Parvini Matel has more.
Scenes like this are an everyday routine on the outskirts of New Delhi. Dozens of labourers come to the street every morning to find work. They fix their wages with recruiters and head to the work site. Most of them are hired in construction. Aditya Pratap says he holds a master's degree but was forced to leave his village because his job doesn't pay enough.
It's very competitive. There aren't enough jobs. There are few government jobs and private companies don't pay well. It's also difficult for us to get paid on time. The government should fix a minimum wage for daily wage workers like us.
Millions of people in India are looking for jobs. Unemployment has soared to its highest level in 16 months. Urban areas are most affected, with 1 in 10 people out of work. Fears of a global recession are further impacting the economy. Exports have dropped in recent months. Industries like manufacturing and technology are hiring fewer workers. Projected to grow above 6%, India remains the fastest growing economy in the world. But this growth has disproportionately benefited the wealthiest, and the pandemic has deepened inequality. According to the latest Oxfam report, the richest 1% hold 40% of the wealth. The finance minister has announced the last government budget ahead of national elections next year. In it, the government says it will spend more than $100 billion to improve infrastructure and create jobs.
Current year's economic growth is estimated to be at 7%. It is notable that this is the highest among all the major economies. This is in spite of the massive slowdown globally caused by COVID-19 and the war.
GDP. And if you look
Some economists say the government should focus on manufacturing to make growth more inclusive.
Any country before us, they haven't taken off. They haven't moved from agriculture to services directly. They've gone through agriculture and manufacturing. Manufacturing is that platform, it's that prop which help countries get into middle income status and then to higher income status.
The economy is projected to bounce back in 2024, but that's a long way off for millions here who are struggling to get by now. Pavni Mittal, Al Jazeera, New Delhi.
This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is our 3-day weather forecast. This concludes today's headline news update. Tune in tomorrow, Friday at 5:30 p.m. with our next broadcast. For more news and updates, you can visit our Facebook and YouTube pages. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.